Now. Oh, come on.
Come on, man. Come on. Oh, God.
When life is but a torture, welcome to Smiley's Corner. Yeah!
Welcome to Smiley's Corner. My name's Smiley. We are gathered here today with my good friend John.
Hey, what's up? Always sounds like I say Coner.
Corner.
Welcome to Smiley's Corner. Corner. It's like a coner instead of a corner. Oh, well. It's just the dialect.
Yeah.
That's right? That's the right way to use that? Like there's a Texan dialect and a New York dialect, but it's all English, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
Are we going to start every episode like looking up words? Maybe we probably shouldn't do that.
Dialect or...
No.
that
Don't
the
look
same-
it up. Don't look it up.
Is
We
that
got
the
it.
same as accents?
We got it up. You know, it's a good point. I don't really, I don't know, because I don't know, like, what, like, Woody Bonics. Is Bonics offensive to say? That's still okay, right?
I don't even know.
Is that a dialect, or is that would be a dialect, I guess, because it's the same, yeah, accent would be, like, how it sounds, but, like, dialect is probably more of, like, slang words. Like, we could go to England, and they're speaking English there, but they could be saying, like, oh yeah, Bugsy Thompson Auburn, blah, blah, blah. And it's just
Yeah.
like, wait, I know all those words, but not the way you're using them, so maybe that's more the dialect thing. I don't think we're going to look up. We're just going to figure it out on our own. I think we nailed it.
So yeah, it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't even know how long it's been now.
God, I'm fighting doing the Stained thing.
The stain thing. It's been a while.
That's why I just said the Stained thing, so you, like, wouldn't say it, but you said it. But I guess, I wonder if that song's old enough to where now it's a classic to where kids won't really get it.
Man, I've been listening to that Significant Other Limp Bizkit album,
Yeah.
and it's really weird. It's bringing back a lot of
Like, good memories makes you feel good.
kind of, but it's very strange. Whenever I listened to it as a kid, I was just like, oh yeah, like, I don't know, just wanted to listen to something loud and aggressive that had a bunch of cursing in it. And now that I listen to it, I realize, like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like a full-on concept album, but it's definitely a breakup record. And that's really what it was. Like, he broke
Was
up.
that the Britney Spears era?
I
Or was
don't-
that pre-Britney Spears?
I think it was just pre-Britney Spears.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, if you listen to a lot of those songs, he's talking about his girlfriend. Even the album title,
Oh,
Significant Other.
I never even thought
Yeah,
about
me
that.
neither.
Oh, wow. Well, that's weird.
But the reason that popped into my head is because you said Stained, and I was thinking of, what's his face, Aaron Lewis?
Yeah.
He does a cameo on, I think it's called No Sex.
It's funny, they used to be buddies, but I saw that they have a feud now. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily... I saw that him and Wes Borland had a feud.
Yeah.
He, apparently Wes Borland said something about him being from L.A., and Aaron Lewis was like, bro, you're from Florida, it's fucking bullshit, you're selling out and everything. It's like, dude, I've lived in L.A., like,
Yeah.
longer than I ever lived in Florida. Like, it's just, it wasn't even like I was trying to disrespect him. Just saying, like, no, like, if someone asks you where you're from, you're like, oh, I'm from LA. Like, no, you're from Florida. Like, people would be confused if you're like, well, I'm from Florida, but I live in LA. It's like, how long you lived in LA? About 24 years. Like,
Well, it's even weirder.
just say you're from LA, which is what he did, but he, like, just wouldn't have it. And it's
So I feel like he wasn't even born, Wes Borland at least wasn't born in Florida, but I think Aaron Lewis was getting at the fact that they just, like, came up in the same scene. 'Cause
Yeah.
They played at, like, same clubs and stuff in Jacksonville, Florida.
Dude, there's a lot of, I might be on Aaron Lewis' side, but there's a lot of videos of that dude being angry at shows. Like, I don't know what, like, it kind of makes me think, like, maybe that's why he's not in the band anymore.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
That's why Stain isn't a thing, because this guy's a dick. Because, like, I understand if you got a heckler, but I'm like, this is people that came to see you. And you're getting heckled,
Yeah.
and, like, you're bitching at people, and
Yeah.
bringing up stuff that's probably not really relevant. Like, probably shouldn't be like, hey, man, this is America. Don't speak like fucking.
But,
Yeah, come, take it back a little bit, buddy.
oh, yeah, going back to that album, though, it's kind of an odd one. Like, what is it, Scott Weiland makes an appearance.
Look at that.
Les Claypool makes an appearance. They they brought him in to do like a I think he was supposed to do like a bass intro or something to a song, and apparently he just got really stoned, and like they put him in front of a microphone and he just starts like, do you remember at the end of that album where they have like I think it's like a secret track, but it's just a bunch of people like talking, like you have Matt Pinfield from MTV come in and start yelling about mainstream radio and stuff. But yeah, Les Claypool comes on at one point and just starts ranting about Limp Bizkit, just making like funny little quips and stuff. And
that is weird because that would be what year did that album come out?
1999.
It's the same year that Anti-Pop came out, which I believe Fred Durst produced a track on.
Really?
Yeah, that was, man, nu metal was very incestuous at that point. That's why I think that's kind of why Primus broke up. I think he said that, like he didn't like where the band was being with that. I don't think he, because I mean they broke up, you know, they were on Family Values and stuff like that, and then it wasn't until like 4 years later or 5 years later where they got back and they're playing Bonnaroo. I'm like, I think that's where they wanted to be. They're like, we don't want to be with these nu metal guys. I think a lot of those guys give them credit for starting him and stuff, and he's just like, oh man, I don't like. I think even at the I don't know, they're kind of guilty because I've watched a lot of, because I think I've talked about it before, watching like Ray Luzier videos on YouTube, and he's the current drummer, which is funny. He's probably been in Korn longer than the original drummer.
Yeah.
But I was just watching drumming videos of him, and then because of that, I ended up watching Korn videos, and I'm like, man, sometimes the grooves are just infectious. Like, those are kind of like, they're way down on the list of albums to get, but I'm like, man, I used to have a handful. I wouldn't even say a handful, maybe two of them. But I never really remember not liking them. It was just kind of like, I don't want to say tricked myself, but I feel like I tricked myself into thinking like I had grown out of it. But it's like,
oh yeah,
I mean, fuck, I still listen to shit that I listened to from back then. For some reason that, I just felt guilty. I'm like, you know what, I'm not saying they're the greatest band ever, or they're up there and they don't get the respect they deserve, but
yeah,
fuck it, man. It's the groove is infectious, and you know, sometimes it's just what you need.
Yeah.
You know, there's variety is a spice of life, and they are a spice, whether you like that flavor or not. That's totally fine and up to you. But like, I don't want, you know, just totally vanilla, right down the middle. Like, oh yeah, all the stuff I listen to is like, people kind of, I think a lot of people kind of like, oh yeah, my tastes are eclectic. I like this one mid-90s rock band versus this early aughts rock. It's like, I mean, yeah, but it's all kind of, it's kind of the same. And it makes it sound like I'm trying to say I'm cultured because I like think I might like Korn, which is ridiculous. But you know, fuck it. Like I say, they're not high on my list to get. But if I run across a bargain bin and I see Issues in there,
oh, I saw that one today when I was digging around.
And you didn't get it because
I don't know. I
was hoping you'd be like, because I already have it. I have 2 copies.
No.
Okay.
No, actually. Trying to think, I don't have any physical copies of any Korn albums anymore.
I don't either. All the stuff that I haven't gotten rid of, I'm like, why did I get? I never even hated it. I just kind of.
I have digital copies of the first 2, but I do kind of want to get the copy of Follow the Leader. That was my jam.
And there's not a lot of music. Well, that's the thing is like if you were to put them on right now, like I feel like even like if we were with buddies that I know for sure don't like them, and I don't think I don't think it's a guilty pleasure or they're faking it, but like I feel like it would at least elicit. Well, maybe not all of them, but some of them at least elicit a smile. And like that's kind of what, like, it's just kind of fun, like groovy stuff.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of like what I felt watching the videos. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why I just didn't like just kind of see it for what it is, like just fun. You know, it's like people laugh at, I don't know, Weird Al Yankovic or fucking, you know, Ween is comedic, even though Korn's, I don't think they're trying to be funny at all, but it's just kind of sweet.
Occasionally.
I'm trying to like pin them into this corner that they're not at all. I'm like, you know, just they're a fun band. They're like Presidents of the United States of America. They're just a fun band. They're not fun at all because they're talking about fucking rape. They have a song called "Forgot." That's okay to say.
Child molestation.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few of those on there. I think the latest album I heard, I think his wife died or something.
Really?
I think so.
Oh,
somebody
yeah, that
close,
was like his ex-wife,
yeah,
I think.
somebody close to him died, so
yeah.
I know there's that. So, yeah, it's not fun, really, at all, but I don't know.
Well, they do have, like, there's
They're called Monkey and Head. How's that not fun?
There's a couple of tracks they did that were pretty good.
They did a. It is kind of funny to me looking back on it because I can definitely understand, like, not even friends but parents. Like, oh, I really like this heavy band, Mom. Like, oh, cool. What's their song about? It's about like Candyland and what's that song? Shoots and Ladders.
Yeah.
It's got you know all the. That's what's even better is it's like. I would show it to my mom. I never did this, but I'm like, I could show it to my mom. Like, you know all the words, yeah. Knick knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Like, that's funny, and I don't know if they meant that to be as funny as it is.
Yeah.
Because it could almost be like a funny like that sounds like something like Ween would do, or something like I'm just trying to not Ween, but like I could see. Maybe not Mr. Bungle, but something Mike Patton is following. Like, yeah, this is a really heavy song, but it's got silly lyrics. Yeah. But I don't think Korn. I don't think they saw it that way. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But
I remember.
I don't think it was supposed to be a comedic, like, kind of satire of heavy bands. Like, everyone takes themselves so seriously. We're just gonna have a song that says "Knick knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone."
You remember? I think it's on. Life is Peachy, the song. It's Korn, but it's like K, and then it has like a bunch of like the at symbol and like a asterisk and like a dollar sign, like it's censored.
Okay.
But all it is him saying curse words like over and over. Like
maybe they are funny. Maybe we should just look at them differently. We should just frame them as a different kind of band.
I was at like a church function and I played it for one of like the youth chaperones. It was like an older guy, probably in his like 40s or 50s or something, and he's like, did he just say diarrhea?
Actually, you know, I think I vaguely remember that. But maybe we should look at them as like less like, I mean, they're not really like contemporary. I'm trying to think of like other contemporary like metal bands that are kind of serious and stuff. But I don't know. It's like they shouldn't be labeled with, I don't know, Metallica. They should be labeled with maybe Crotch Duster, and then everyone would see them differently. Like, oh, it's a fun, funny thing. Not.
Well, I mean, I think they were trying to be like brooding and like dark.
Yeah, they were. They were fucking. That is one thing that kind of bugs me. I'm like, they still do the mascara thing, and it's really weird because Ray, which he doesn't strike me as that guy. Any interview I've seen with him, he just seems like a totally normal guy, but he puts on mascara for the show.
Yeah.
And I always, for the longest time, I was like, they clearly put on mascara. But it's been like 25 years. And I saw like, Head recently rejoined the band.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching it and I'm like, maybe he doesn't put on mascara. Because I feel like even when he went in the band, I would say, but he does. He definitely does. I watched a video of him doing it and I'm like, God, like why? It just seems so like you're covered in tattoos. You got these giant dreads. You can't even see your face.
Yeah.
Like, why is that? I can follow the logic of Kiss. We're going to do makeup. We're going to be characters.
Yeah.
But just to do the little bit of the eyeliner, I just don't get that. It really frustrates me when I see guys with eyeliner. That, like, what's funny is in 2020 now, it could be offending way more people than I intend to. But it just, it offends me because I just don't see the showmanship of it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand if you want to wear makeup, but I don't think these guys... I think they are like, cis males. They identify.
They're just like gothy emo dudes or something like
that play like funk metal. They're from like Southern California.
But I think that maybe they're just trying to like identify with their fans, like that, because you know the typical like Korn fan.
I get a Marilyn Manson fan doing it. I just don't really get like. It's just like they're not dude bros or anything, but like.
But there is that crowd too. It's kind of a weird mix of like angry like skinny white kids and like big like buff dudes.
Yeah, that's true.
That just want to punch.
Because I watched that. That was the thing too. Is that I noticed like watching a bunch of Korn. I can't believe we're spending this much time on Korn. maybe for the person listening out there, they'll be like, oh, this takes me back to when I can laugh at myself. But that was the thing that I kind of realized. I'm like, oh, it's funny. I got rid of these CDs. I don't really ever know why, but like. Yeah. Watching their shows and everything, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of people that never gave up on them. I'm thinking like, oh, everyone grew out of that. No one listened, but like, no. People still like, love, and listen to Korn. They're still putting out albums out to this day.
They still probably sell out shows everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah, they're not one of those bands that like, oh, we're just doing clubs now. Like, it's weird to me, those bands that like, is there construction going on outside?
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just hope that's what that is. Okay, I think it is.
Somebody backing up.
Pretty sure when a fire alarm we're about to die or something and not even realize it. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Probably something nice about corn again. Just love corn, man. I just love corn, man. Corn's good.
I was thinking about how when I was a kid, I thought it was so cool because I remember when I first started listening, they had an Adidas sponsorship and they had that song Adidas. But I thought it was so cool. These guys got free Adidas tracksuits. Like they're just
Yeah, you're like, this is brilliant.
yeah.
And I love how you're doing this at the same time that you're listening to like fucking Dead Milkmen and stuff. Like your transition into the music and stuff that you got into is very because you were like hardcore punk when I met you. Not hardcore. You weren't like fucking, doing drugs or fucking like but
I was just like all
that
in.
That was your music. I think a few people were disappointed whenever they found out like you were getting into metal. They're like, "Oh man, what are you doing, man? What you gotta stay with us, buddy. We're punk guys." You're like, "Yeah, it was I like what I like." You've never been scared to really like. You don't have any guilty pleasures, do you?
I don't know. I mean, the new metal stuff is probably about as weird as it gets, but I mean, like you've seen
A lot
some
of that can be
stuff.
explained away with youngness. But
You've seen some of the shit that I like dabble in. I don't know. Like I bought like a Dionne Warwick album and like
what? Okay, what? Now I know you bought that. What do you remember? What you bought that same day with the Dionne Warwick album?
no, I
Damn it!
couldn't tell you. I could look it up on my iTunes if you want.
You can wait. You can find out the day that you bought it.
Well, like it'll be close because it'll be whenever I ripped it.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
I remember that's the thing. You bought Dionne Warwick, and you also bought like I don't know a Sepultura album or something. I don't think you bought that, but it was a very it's just funny looking at that on your.
It's still no.
I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't know what I would be if I was a music guy. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't be the guy that's like, even if like, let's say quote unquote, I'm judging people. Like I wouldn't show it on my face. I wouldn't say anything. Like I feel like I'd be pretty. That looks like you got the Brown album.
Yeah.
What's to the left of that? It looks familiar.
That's the Broadcast C, the last Broadcast C.
Oh,
I
that's why it looks familiar.
just
Okay.
downloaded that.
Yeah, because I think that was
I
free
was listening
online.
to it, but yeah, it looks like I probably, if I'm remembering correctly, I probably got this Cave In single because I buy all things Cave In. I've gotten to the point where I don't even care. If I don't have it, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I have like maybe 3 bands that are like that for me. Primus is one of them.
These Arms Are Snakes. I think that was their last record. That's like a band that I'm really sad that I didn't like really embrace when they were around. I thought they were just one of those like silly screamo.
That's kind of the way I still see them. I don't
Yeah.
know anything about them.
But
I
they're
do
really,
know that it turned out. I never saw them live, but I can verify their arms aren't snakes.
but one of the dudes from Botch like played in that band at one point, and like
Oh no shit.
I don't know, they have like it's a really great group of musicians. It's really weird shit, but I saw them play at Gloves one time, and I was like, this band's fucking awesome, and then they broke up.
Oh wow.
But yeah, that the Brown album, and probably this Dionne Warwick album. So yeah, if that tells you anything, these Arms Are Snakes, Primus, Cave In, and some Dionne Warwick.
Dionne Warwick, beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Dead? She dead? Probably not dead, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna say she's probably still living. Kirk Douglas still going strong, buddy.
Yeah.
I think his birthday's sometime in December, so I'm gonna keep a. I'm basically on. Does that sound bad to say that you're on a Kirk Douglas like death watch? Because that's basically what I am. Like I want him
Involved
to
in a
keep
death
going.
pool. Yeah, she's 79 years old.
Nice. How awesome would it be to be like 15 years from now, and I'm still on Kirk Douglas? Like, how insane would that be? That like, I feel like 15 years from now, I'm gonna be like this weird Kirk Douglas. Like by then, I've bought all of his movies, and like, yeah, just every year that he lives, I buy a movie of his.
Do you know how many?
Because I think he's at 103 years old now. I think he
Really?
just turned 103.
Jeez.
His wife's still alive too, as far as I know, and I think she's 99 or 100.
Wow.
That's insane. I wonder if they're just like, they hate. Well, they probably don't. I don't know what their daily life is like, but it'd just be weird if they're like miserable and they're like, I really thought you'd have been fucking dead by now. Jesus, man. Like,
Man, I watched this thing. I was on Reddit earlier, and there's this subreddit called Public Freakout, and it's usually just people like in public.
does that have
like,
the GameStop ma'am guy?
She
golly, it's ma'am. You not watch the video, Smiley?
She is probably on there somewhere, but I didn't like dig too deep into it. I was just looking at like best of and like recent stuff. But they had this old man was mad about some kind of maintenance thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he went into the apartment like main office and he pulls out a gun.
Whoa.
And I can't remember if the shooting happened before or after, but the maintenance man is in there and he shot him like point blank. Thankfully, he didn't like hit anything major. He just like grazed him, but he shot him twice. And there was a lady like sitting at the receptionist thing. She asked if she could leave because I guess his beef was with the maintenance man over something specific.
That's kind of. I mean, I understand that. I mean, definitely like life and death situation. It is kind of fucked up that it's like, fuck you, maintenance man, and the lady's like, is it okay if I just leave while you guys shoot each other?
But
like,
the dude was. Well, I think she was on the phone with 911, unbeknownst to the guy, but
oh, okay.
he was 93 years old and just like fucking swinging a gun around. The cops like showed up.
The 93-year-old that lived there that went into the. So it was a 93-year-old tenant
Yeah.
that was pissed off at maintenance man
Right.
and went in there to wave the gun around at the maintenance
Uh-huh.
man. He probably. Do you think he wanted to shoot the maintenance man, or he was just trying to like?
Get his point across.
It's funny that you. I'm glad that you kind of said that he's 93 because that makes me think that like, because if I was mad at like the maintenance man for not fixing something,
Yeah.
like, you'd have to think that like bringing the gun in isn't gonna like,
Yeah.
like let's say he fixes it that day, you
Mhm.
probably are not gonna be there that day to enjoy that. But if you're 93, I feel like you're like, I really don't give a shit if it doesn't get fixed at this point. I kind of hope it doesn't, and I can fucking.
But the cops like busted in. They
But a
told him
maintenance
to
man
freeze.
shot him twice. 93-year-old dude got shot twice. And
No. The 93-year-old dude shot the maintenance man twice.
Oh,
He pulled out the gun.
I thought you were saying the
Oh.
maintenance man defended himself.
Oh,
and was
no.
Like, oh,
But
jeez.
yeah, the cops showed up. They told him to like freeze. I think they shot the glass in the door.
I feel like just the recoil from the gun probably shattered his fucking bones in his arm.
He seemed fine. I don't know exactly what kind of gun he had, but they shot the
44
door.
Magnum.
They shot the door. You see the door like it just like spider webbed, and the dude was just sitting there like the old guy's just like, oh, what the fuck, and the other guy's like laying on the ground because he's been shot.
Yeah.
And the cops like busted in the door and just grabbed the old dude and slammed him on the ground.
Just for the record, he probably doesn't live there anymore. He probably got evicted, taken to jail, or whatever. I bet they fixed that shit for the new tenant, though. And he's going to be like, you're fucking welcome. You know what would really scare me? I feel like, do they have an obligation to tell the next person that lives there that's like, hey, old guy lived here, shot a maintenance man? Do they have to tell them that?
I don't think so.
Because, let's be honest, 93-year-old that's willing to shoot a maintenance man kind of seems like he might show up to his old apartment and be like,
Oh yeah, I didn't
live
think
here.
about that.
I live here. Like, no, you don't. We just got the place. Like, yeah, does the dishwasher work? You're welcome. I live here. Be
Maybe,
like,
maybe they gave him a picture and
that's
like,
what I'm thinking.
don't open the door for this man.
Yeah, they might need to tell them that. Because if he's willing to do that, I don't see why he wouldn't be like. Because I don't mean to sound like disrespectful, but like sometimes when old people don't get stuff, they like don't give a fuck that they don't understand. Like, no, this is this is
Yeah,
happening. Like, I
stubborn.
live here. Like, I'm gonna live here.
Yeah.
Like, I've been living here for 30 years. They're like, yeah, but then you went to jail. Like, I never said no to living here. Like, it's just I'm gonna live here. So, oh man, God, I hope nothing bad happened to my apartment. Oh, I've lived there for like a decade. I'm pretty sure someone was.
Thankfully, the maintenance man went home later that evening with non-life-threatening injuries.
Wow. Man, I wonder if Ben ever worried about that.
I don't know if like
I'm sure they're crazy.
I think as long as you aren't like totally like awful and shitty, like people don't have like sewage like sitting in their apartment or
yeah,
something.
that's true. I feel like all you got to do, maybe he did this, but maybe just like let them know dishwasher or whatever isn't working, and maybe just leave the gun out whenever they come in. Be like, yeah, just cleaning my gun, man. Go take a look at that dishwasher. Just cleaning up this gun, getting it ready to go. And they're like, oh, okay. So maybe that's all it would take.
So,
But I wanted to share like a quick funny story. So we went and saw Star Wars earlier, right? So I had a doctor appointment at 3:20. We got out, had a smoke. I had a smoke. Smiley didn't have a cigarette. He hasn't broken down yet. But it was 3 o'clock, and I live very close by. And the doctor's office is also extremely close by. I kind of had to take a shit. I'm like, I'm probably going to stop off at home first. So I tried to go, and it's a weird part of town because I thought, like, I would be able to, like, kind of make a straight shot home through all these, like, parking lots. Turns out that wasn't true. I had to go make a loop around. The problem is by the time I figure this out, you know, I got 20 minutes. And I'm like, it's getting closer and closer. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be able to make it to the apartment. And then I get to the stoplight. And I'm like, why is there a fucking cop on a motorcycle in the intersection? Like, oh, it's a funeral procession.
oh no.
And I'm like, oh, they're going the way that I'm going. So it's like there was no really way to get around them. So it went from like I have enough time to go home, take a shit, then get back to the doctor to be like, all right, now I got enough time to get at the doctor, to now I'm like, I'm going to be late for the doctor. It's like, and thankfully it was kind of like one of those things where it was like, I don't really have to take a shit. Like maybe if I pushed one out, but I was really worried that I was going to be like mid explaining shit to the doctor in the office and be like, hey,
yeah.
can I get out of here? Thankfully that didn't happen. So it was totally,
This is an emergency.
yeah, it totally worked out and it was fine. God, I was so nervous. Like in the car, I was like, I'm pretty good. I just really don't. It's already embarrassing having to go to the doctor. Like, yeah, I got this thing and it's not that great. And now I'm going to shit my pants in front of you. And that's probably going to make things worse. But I was just like, man, and it was funny because I thought about that because like the shortcut that I tried to take, it was like one of those things in hindsight. I'm like, man, if I wouldn't have tried to take the shortcut,
Would have got there
I
like
would have
right
gotten
on
there
time,
early, and I
early,
would probably
yeah.
would have been able to go to my fucking apartment and stuff. But I just thought it was one of those, I don't know, one of those moments in life where I'm like, and I'm trying to remind myself the whole time. I'm like, I'm even trying to like not make faces because I'm like, I don't want anyone around me to think I'm an asshole. Like, God, fucking son of a bitch, I need to fucking get. Because I was just like, this is shitty. And I've been in one of those processions before. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's somebody that's probably had to take a shit. And like, you're like, damn it. But, you know,
Like,
it's like,
please.
hey, at least I'm here and I'm able to take a shit. So I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. It was just kind of one of those weird moments. I just thought it was like, man, on a Wednesday at 4? And not that that's a bad time. It was just kind of a random. I don't know when the right time to do a funeral is. I don't know when people normally do it. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess, I mean, it's just like life and death, man. It's always inconvenient. It's just the way it is. A very popular person, though. I will give him that. So that's good. They had a lot of fucking people. And it was kind of worried, too, because, like, by the time it ended, you know, I'm, like, turning in behind them. And then I get worried that I'm like, oh, I don't want to be confused that I'm, like, a part of this or
Yeah.
something. So I'm, like, trying to keep my space back. But I'm pretty sure the people behind me at this point don't know what's going on. They're like, why are you going, like, 15 miles an hour or whatever? It's just like, I don't know. I don't want to get, like, lumped in and somehow there's a cop behind me now and I can't fucking get out of anything. But it was very weird. I just thought it was like, golly, after I watch a shitty Star Wars movie, now I got to do this. I wasn't that shitty. I'd give it, out of 5 stars, what would you give the new Star Wars? Oh, it's funny. I was going to do a segue. That's also a segue to it.
Out of 5 stars,
I'd give it
maybe like
2 3/4. No,
I think
2
maybe
and a
like
half.
3.5.
3.5. Damn, really? I'm gonna give it 2.
I think I just like, I don't know.
I'll give it 2 3/4. I don't want to go 3.
I maybe it's just because I'm kind of in a like Star Wars like kind of mode after watching the other one last night, but
Watching The Last Jedi got you into the mode.
yeah, because I was just like, I don't know. I'm not sure if
I haven't seen The Last Jedi, but I just heard so many bad things that I feel like that may be what it is. Because I've heard this from other people. They're like, they hated Last Jedi so much that they're like, JJ had a lot of work to do, a lot of things to clear up and correct, that like this movie wasn't perfect, but given the material that he had to work with, I liked it. So maybe that's what I don't know. I feel like I'm like, dude, you need to hate them. And it's funny as I haven't even seen them, so it's.
But I don't know. Like I just kind of like, I don't really care about any of the extra stuff. Like I'm not really like, I'm not a purist per se. I don't really like the prequels weren't great, but I didn't think they were like the shittiest things ever. Like the Phantom Menace is kind of boring, but the other two like I thought were okay.
Yeah.
And Force Awakens was like an okay movie, but I didn't think it was a bad movie.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I think I talked to you about it like off mic. I was gonna say off air, but I remember getting corrected for that multiple times. I'm like, what do you say, off mic? But talk about how I remember watching the Force Awakens in like a vacuum, but it was kind of weird because there was a point in time where I was all in on Star Wars, and it was probably like around the time of the prequels and stuff. And I don't even want to defend those movies and say they're like great, but it like lit a fire to make me want to like, oh, I'm gonna get a video game, I'm gonna get some comic books, I'm gonna get some actual books and stuff. But then slowly but surely you kind of realize like, man, like all these people that are fans of it, like to show your true fandom, you gotta hate it.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, it was just kind of like, and I'm not saying anyone should like love anything that they don't like, but it was just kind of exhausting to like. Yeah, like fucking, how long are we gonna fucking talk shit on these movies? Like, we get it, man, they're bad. But then what's funny is there are people that I know for a fact hated the prequels, but they hate these so much that they're like, they look back on the prequels fondly, and I'm like, dude, don't fucking do that. You can't fucking like just. Well, now I respect them. I mean, they made a documentary about the people versus George Lucas. And it blows my mind that like people, like their creative outlet was dedicated solely to a man and the franchise, his franchise, mind you, that they feel like he let them down on, which, like I say, I'm not saying you gotta love it or not feel upset, but it's just kind of exhausting. And it was kind of like, it did kind of suck to like get kind of balls deep into something and then realize like,
it's just a fucking
we can't,
shitstorm.
yeah, we can't have fun and talk
It's a
about
trash
it.
fire.
Or like, yeah, it's just so weird to be like, hey man, I like Star Wars. Like, oh, I like Star Wars too. Like, what'd you like about this? It's like, oh, fuck those and fuck this and fuck him. And I'm like, wait a second. So you like what? Like 30 minutes of a Star Wars movie, and that's what you're basing your whole? I don't know. It's just very.
But I don't know. I'm kind of like, I thought they did a pretty good job at like. I'm glad they at least like incorporated more like practical effects rather than just being like all CGI.
I just kept thinking about that whenever I saw Chewie get out of that. I'm like, man, that's a dude in a costume. And whenever they, I was gonna say spoilers, but I'm pretty sure we're the last to the party on this. But whenever they blew up that fucking planet, I'm like, that looked like a fucking ball hanging in front of like a fucking, I don't know, a black and white starry looking background, and they just blew it up. It's like a ball hanging on a string. I'm like, that's kind of awesome. And it looked great. I'm just like, that definitely didn't look CGI'd. It looked real. Like, that's insane to me. I don't know. It just kind of blows my mind when you put the two together, like the clearly like, oh, that's definitely CGI'd.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher's face, definitely CGI'd.
Yeah, because me and Will talked about like how awkward like the prequels looked like with all the CGI. Like,
I thought they looked cool. I mean, I was 14 at the time, and maybe if I was a hardcore fan, I'd have thought they looked cool. But I was just like, I don't know what people are saying, man. This is a fucking visual spectacular fest going on. I was like, yeah, it looks cool. I don't understand why.
But I don't know. I think he's just like talking about how they didn't really necessarily age well.
Yeah,
he's been like binging everything on Disney Plus. So.
And see, and that's the thing too, is like, I feel like that's the thing to me is like, I feel like the prequels, like, it looks okay because they all look, I don't want to say they look okay, but like, it doesn't bother me there because they all look like uniformly like that. But whenever you put those effects into the originals, you're like, ugh, that looks bad to me.
It's true.
But like, whenever the whole film kind of looks like that, I'm like, oh, it's not bad. And when you look back on it, it's like, this is like over 20 years ago now that fucking Phantom Menace came out. Which is kind of nuts, but. Yeah, I don't know. Disney Plus. He's got Disney Plus?
Yeah. I think his sister let him use it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was like, man, there's a lot of shit on there that I don't even fucking... I forget that they own Fox now.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. He's like, there's Simpsons on there if you want to watch that.
Yeah, fucking, I found that out, and I'm like, man, that
But
would
it's
be
basically
nice.
like ABC, Fox, ESPN, Well, I mean, they own ESPN,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's under their banner. You got the Star Wars and the Disney and the Marvel and.
Yeah, that what was the preview that we saw for the movie Free Guy? The funniest thing to me was I was kind of confused because I didn't realize they were making a joke at first, but it was like the studio that brought you Aladdin, blah blah blah, and I'm like the studio that brought, like, just say like, it just sounds weird whenever you're like the studio that brought you, like, Disney. Everyone knows it's fucking Disney, like, it's huge. But then it was obviously like twice.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good joke. That movie doesn't. I don't think it's gonna do well, but I could be wrong. It just looks like I don't remember the name of that movie. Pixels with Adam Sandler. Is that what it's called? Remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
You forgot about that movie, didn't you? Video game movie?
Yeah.
Where he's in a video game? This one looks more action-packed, entertaining. Like, I could see it being...
It's kind of a funny concept to me because it's like a CPU. It's an NPC character that usually
Yeah,
just
that-
like
Wow, that was weird.
he just walks around and like does the same thing over and over and over again. And he finally decides that he's had enough. Enough of people like going in and
I
robbing.
didn't even really consider him as an NPC. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like, I'm tired of, like, just...
It's like, why do I have to do this every day?
It is... All right, it sounds better. It definitely looks like entertaining. I'm just like... I feel like my finger's on the pulse of the audience, Smiley. It's just not going to go well. I don't know. For every one great Ryan Reynolds movie, there's always, like, 5 or 6 clunkers, I feel like.
But the reason me and Will actually started talking about the Disney Plus thing was because before, like, we talked about going to see Star Wars, I was like, oh, it's still on Netflix. I'll just watch The Last Jedi and, like, I'll get caught up. So I go to Netflix and start typing in. The only thing they have on there is Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, yeah, duh. I forgot about that. I'm
First
like,
of the year, they, like, swapped everything over, I guess.
Yeah, you're saying that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, duh. Why would they, like, fuck Netflix? I can't believe they even have Solo on there. Actually...
Might be, like, a timing thing or something.
Yeah, maybe they have some sort of,
That
like,
was the last one, yeah.
contractual thing with Netflix.
Because Will was saying that, too. There's certain things on Disney Plus that'll show up, but you can't click on them. Or you can click on them, but they'll give you, like, a error message saying, we're not allowed to show you this because of contractual obligations. I think Home Alone is still stuck in some kind of weird,
That's weird.
like, thing. But I think it's owned by 20th Century Fox.
Yeah. Because that's, I mean, yeah, that makes sense because Disney got all the X-Men back, which, as far as I know, is owned by Fox.
Uh-huh.
But Sony was the Spider-Man one, so technically they still don't have Spider-Man, even though they do, basically. I mean, I've watched the new Spider-Man movies. Are basically just like, hey, do you want to see young Iron Man? Like, that's, I mean, they're cool, but you know, suits they're a little fancy. They're not just nice cloth or anything.
Yeah.
They're a little fancy. Should we take a break?
Do you want to, or you just want to keep going?
I kind of want to take a smoke.
Okay. All right, everybody. We'll be right back.
I didn't realize how far we had gone. From break now. We are back from break now.
All right, we're back, everybody. Sorry.
Heart attack. We're a heart attack thing. You know they're remaking Major League. I was just kidding. You believe me though, didn't you? Yeah, Charlie Sheen's the manager now. They got the same woman to play the owner though.
Yeah.
Gosh, she was so hot.
She's old as fuck.
She was in that Michael J. Fox movie.
The Secret to My Success.
Oh yeah. Gosh, she's so hot. in
She
that
was
movie.
She
Yeah,
was
she
like
was
the older
like
lady that he was like banging on the side.
Yeah. Did he ever actually bang her? No, I really don't. You know what's funny is I think I own that movie. I think that was in. I got like a four movie set.
Michael J. Fox,
Michael
80s.
J. Fox, yeah. It was funny. It's like I'd seen that one. I knew I liked that one, but there was The Hard Way, which I still don't think I've watched that.
Really?
It's him
The
and
cop movie?
Him and James Woods.
Yeah.
It's like a very weird pairing. I think Greed's in there. I think I saw Greed in the theater.
Really?
You know who's in that? Kirk Douglas. When he's probably 84, 10 years ago. I don't know how long. That's probably 20 plus years ago, I guess now. But I'm pretty sure I saw that one in the theater. But it had a huge ensemble cast. I think it was one of those movies probably everyone thought was... I feel like ensemble casts don't do well. I think people think they're going to do well. Oh, we have 10 stars in it. But
Yeah.
Actually, before we get into the game changers, I kind of want to. I'm gonna. Hopefully, I can do this quickly. I just want to look at the cast because I have a feeling at the time these are probably going to be big names. I don't think that they've like carried the weight in their names from that time, and it's probably not even gonna. It's probably gonna be the wrong fucking. Yeah, it's not even the right movie. It's pulling up a fucking 2019 fucking comedy drama. I had a fucking bad feeling this is gonna happen. 1994. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, this was like pre-Alzheimer's. So that means Kirk Douglas would have been how long ago? 26 years ago. Do the math, Smiley. Do the fucking math. He'd have been in.
How old is he? He's like 103.
Yeah.
So 20 years would be 83. Would you
Okay,
say
maybe
20?
I kind of overestimated the cast on this. Holy shit. Okay, we're going to get to that one. But Michael J. Fox, Kirk Douglas, Nancy Travis, who I'm a big fan of. She's on a current show called Last Man Standing.
So I married an axe murderer?
Yeah, Olivia d'Abo. I don't know her at all. Phil Hartman was in the film. Ed Begley Jr. Remember Ed Begley Jr.?
Yeah.
Jer Burns, you probably recognize that guy. Colleen Camp. I guess these are all maybe not big stars, but like great character actors.
Yeah.
They probably. I feel like they have like some sort of was it Gramblings?
Groundlings?
Groundlings? Is
Like
that
the
what,
improv
is that what it
troupe?
is? Yeah, I feel like that's probably where a lot of these people originated. Like something like an improv. Bob Balaban, he was on Seinfeld. But the most notable one to me, Mary Ellen Trainor. It's funny, you would recognize all of these people. Maybe that's why I thought it was like a star-studded cast. Maybe it wasn't as star-studded as I thought. But the one big star for me is one Joyce Heiser. The love of my life, Joyce Heiser. She was in a little film. You might have heard of it, called Just One of the Guys. Oh, just for the regular movie, it's called Greedy, not Greed. Okay. So I don't...
Correction.
I need to watch this movie again because I've gotten everything wrong about it so far. But man, Joyce Heiser's in it. I think she retired from acting, man. It sucks. She was so hot. I think I've mentioned her on the podcast before because she made me question a lot of things as a child. Whenever I see this, like, oh, that's a cute looking guy in his little tuxedo. Whoa, big tits. Hot big tits. She's apparently in Spinal Tap as well. I think I knew that, and I think it's gonna sound weird, but I think I watched Spinal Tap because of that. And I don't even think she's in the movie. I think she might be in a deleted scene.
Oh.
And she's in it. And if it wasn't a deleted scene, she's in it for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They're like at a bar, and she's like one of the girls at the bar. And she says 2 words to him. And then she went on to do Just One of the Guys, which I'm pretty sure is a movie that's been redone and named different things 10 million times.
Really?
Because it's just a chick pretending to be a dude to do something at school. I think Amanda Bynes had a movie about that.
Really?
Yeah, what was it? She's All That? Is that? No, that's the fucking... Damn it. Oh, well. Sorry. So, you think it's okay to eat meat?
So I had that same question. So there's a new movie on Netflix called The Game Changers.
Changing the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Bad name for what the documentary is. It's relevant, I understand, but maybe it's bad for me because there's a YouTube channel called Game Chasers. There's also a barcade in town called Game Changers, and I just feel like it's not really... That term to me isn't really relevant to eating meat.
Yeah.
Or not eating meat.
But I had no prior knowledge of this. The only reason I found out about it was because of Joe Rogan.
Mhm.
And I was flipping through like all the podcasts that he had posted because I kind of like I've gotten where I can't do every single one. I gotta like pick and choose because it's too much. They're too long. So I looked at it and I was like, what is this Game Changers documentary thing? So apparently he had a guy on and they debunked the movie. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I saw like, I don't even know how long it was, like a week or maybe 2 weeks later, they had another guy on to debate the debunking of his movie because he was one of the producers and he's also the star. He's a former mixed martial artist. He was actually a UFC fighter. I want to say he won the Ultimate Fighter, maybe.
No kidding.
He's a combatants expert now. He teaches
I was really hoping you were like, yeah, it was Nate Diaz. I'm like, I don't think that guy's probably good at arguing anything. So
they actually they showed Nate Diaz in the movie.
Oh yeah, I know he's a vegan and mixed martial artist.
Well, he I think he it's kind of a pescatarian. Just depends on what he's doing at the time.
Okay.
Does a little fish.
God, isn't that so crazy? Oh, it's just so weird. It's the last guy you would think would be able to.
But anyways, this guy, I believe his name is James Wilkes. He he's very I don't know. He did had a pretty decent mixed martial arts career. Now he goes around the world training military people and stuff, how to defend themselves in real combat scenarios. But he had this whole thing where he wasn't getting quite the results that he wanted, and I can't remember exactly how he stumbled upon it, but he was just looking into plant-based alternatives, and he started dabbling in it and found that all the results he was getting were all really good, and eventually he came to the conclusion that that was the best thing for him, as far as performance and everything, performance, recovery, all this stuff. And I was just like, this is fucking crazy. I'd always heard people especially because I used to hang out with a girl who was a vegan, and it just seemed really annoying, just having to go to the store and pick and choose things. And even if you find all the foods that you can eat, you still have to take supplements and stuff just so you can maintain a baseline. Because
I feel like that's what probably turns most people off. A lot of people like meat, I get that, but I feel like it's almost like a part-time to full-time job, just doing the research required and actually executing the research once you find it and everything. It's just it's not as simple as just go out and get a thing.
But the point of this movie was to kind of prove that you do still have to do some research, because there are lots of people that go vegetarian or even go vegan and don't really make correct choices with stuff. They're still getting enough nutrients to survive per se, but they aren't really doing it in a healthy way. But he was saying basically, as long as you did all your research correctly, you didn't you still have to take some supplements, but his claim is that anybody on any diet would have to take the same type of supplements. You can still get a proper amount of protein and all the different vitamins and nutrients that you would need. So I sat and watched the movie. I was very confused. Some of it seemed legit, but other things they do have. It turns out that they do have real science backing up a lot of these things, but when the way they presented it in the movie, it's very anecdotal. They basically did they did a thing where they gave 3 athletes 3 meals with animal products in them, and then they tested their blood, and then they gave the same 3 athletes 3 meals with just a plant-based thing. They tested their blood again, and apparently it makes your blood, whenever you eat animal products, it makes your blood cloudy, the plasma.
Okay.
Whenever you run in a centrifuge. And I think that's basically saying that your arteries and stuff are
don't want cloudy piss, bro. I guess you don't want cloudy blood either, huh?
I'm probably butchering this whole thing, but just saying that it's harder for your blood to work to do all the normal processes it needs to do.
Makes sense. It's changing the oil. Man, wouldn't that be great if that's a blood transfusion. Never mind. Just every once in a while, just get all your blood.
But anyways, I watched the movie. I some of it really kind of got me very interested. They do all kinds of bright, flashy stuff. They got Arnold Schwarzenegger in there promoting it, and I don't know, James Cameron.
Oh, it's funny that you say that, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Schwarzenegger replied to Rogan's podcast, and it was Thanks for shedding some light on this. Like something along. No, he didn't say like I've been living a lie, but like.
Oh well, yeah, he's
I've
not
been
a
doing this
vegan.
wrong. Well, he's like. Since being in that film, he's changed. Like he probably wouldn't be in that film now. Like he's
Oh.
changed his stance. I think that much after
Really?
like all of this. Yeah.
But I know he like he kind of like I think he dabbled in some stuff. They definitely like did like some interviews and articles about it where he would like he basically took out like a large portion of meat from his diet, but he didn't go like full on vegan. But he was like the guy like I don't know, like the 70s and 80s, just like you eat the same number of grams of protein as your body weight type of thing. Like I think that's like supposed to be legit if you're like trying to get jacked. Like
That's insane. Well, I've watched watching all those like strongman competitions. Oh man, which by the way, this is a slight. I walked out of the back room at work the other day, and there was a guy with a shirt on, and it had a guy like holding a not a dumbbell, but basically like a weight press bench, but on either side of the the weight press bench, the bar, it had donuts, and it said Martin's, and I was like, what do I know? I'm like, Martins Lisi's, he's a strongman. But it made me so mad because I wanted to go back and ask that guy if that's what it was, and I never did. And that's a weird off take, but it's just weird. But like you're saying, but anyways, back to like the strongman stuff. Like those guys, I watched like a Brian Shaw thing, Hafthor Bjornsson diet, and like it's not fun. It's not fun at all because they have to eat like multiple. Like we're not talking like 10 times, like probably at the minimum 12 times a day, and they're like not small meals. They're just eating and lifting weights, eating and lifting weights.
And they have there's a guy in this documentary. He's like a strongman guy. I don't think he's like one of the like big crazy ones, but he does like break like a world record in the movie.
Your weight in grams of protein?
Well, it's I might have misrepresented that. So, say you weigh 250 pounds, you eat 250 grams of protein.
So that would be like a 15-gram Cliff Bar. I would have to eat. However, I'm not going to do the math right now, but you know what I'm saying.
But
10,
yeah, like
was that 10? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to do the math. Like I don't know, 15 or 20? Less than 20?
maybe, I'm not sure, but like however many steaks or whatever that is, or like protein powders.
Because whenever I see a protein bar that has like 20 or 25, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of protein.
Yeah.
But it's like, you need to be eating 10 of those.
Yeah.
What?
If you want to get jacked and like stay jacked, like
Oh, man. That's the thing, man. I might want to get jacked, but I don't think once I get there, I'm like, that's the thing is, it's like, all right, I'm jacked. I can retire now. I'm like, no. You gotta have to stay jacked, buddy. You gotta,
But
like, it doesn't stop now.
they
that
were
you're here.
trying to like disprove a lot of the stuff because I don't know, everybody kind of there's like a vegan stereotype. It's like a skinny,
Yeah.
like pasty looking dude who's like just if he does have muscle, it's all lean muscle.
Mhm.
But they have a strongman guy on there who's like doing like flipping over cars and shit. And there's like a full on bodybuilder, like huge fucking dude that does straight plant based. Like he doesn't do any kind of meat or eggs or dairy or any of that stuff. But anyways, like I said, watch the thing. Some things kind of got me interested, a little excited. Other things I was just kind of like, that looks like bullshit. But I really didn't know for sure, and I appreciate that Rogan tries to like find like people that will help like give you enough like information about these things so you don't like feel like you're completely stupid. Sometimes it goes way over my head, sometimes it helps. But anyways, I listened to the original podcast where him and Chris Kresser, like I said, I can't remember exactly what the guy's certifications are, but that becomes like a kind of a point of conflict later because he's not a nutrition expert or a doctor or anything like that. He's like a licensed acupuncturist, but he also has like part of his like master's program was that he did have to do like certain things about nutrition, and he does like he works with people and tries to help them like have like better diets just based on their dietary needs and all kinds of things. But you wouldn't really say that he's like an expert per se, but he's been on the podcast like I don't know, maybe like 5 times now, and he sounds like he knows a lot about what he's talking about. And I think
He might know a lot about what he's talking about, but
Yeah.
it might be it's like, I don't want to offend like acupuncture. For all I know, acupuncture works. I knew I had a teacher at one point in time that did it and it worked. But it's just like, yeah, he knows a lot about acupuncture. It's like, yeah, but it's acupuncture. it's chiropractic.
But I think like he definitely has like a biased opinion about things. But there are certain things it sounds like he's sat and like reviewed like literature. Like he's done a lot more research than your average person would.
Yeah.
Trying to like look at this stuff, but he may lean towards like certain biases, and that may kind of reflect the way like he pulls stuff from like certain studies.
Because that's what I mean. I'm even guilty of it too. Is it's like you kind of already want like an answer that you have built in your head. You want to be able to find that, so you're gonna kind of look for like, I think that person X did do this thing, so I'm gonna like look for that answer, and not just as broad as like I want to see what this person did. It's like, well, I'm looking for them doing this, so it's
Right.
like I'm kind of like already going in biased, like I think that meat is bad, so let's just do the research and gather enough material, because I'm sure you can find lots of people that like, yeah, this guy died by eating meat. It's like, yeah, but he ate 40 pounds of fucking, I don't know, raw deer meat every day. So it's like one of those things where it's like you can probably find I think I even learned in a college class the term typifying example, which is funny because typifying, I think talking about typical is like, but it was actually the exact opposite. They would find the most extreme case of something and basically like present that as
Right.
if it was the most typical. And people do that with like everything.
Yeah.
Like politics, nutrition, like so I can definitely see that. And that's the thing too, is I don't know, like it seems like, no, this is the way to go. It's like, well, yeah, but I mean, some people, their body doesn't produce insulin, so clearly like like that's easy enough to figure out and find out like what they can and can't have. But I feel like there's like maybe, I don't want to say like almost undiscernible stuff that people don't even realize like what you need to be the perfect diet. And I don't understand like, oh, this is the ideal thing you want to do. Like, what does ideal mean? That
Yeah.
I'm going to be super jacked? That I'm going to live till I'm 200?
Yeah.
Because I was very happy to watch a video of a local newscast of a lady who was 104 years old and drank 3 Dr. Peppers a day. So it's like, is she doing better than the guy that lived a healthy life till he was 90?
Yeah.
He didn't drink a soda for 60. It's like, yeah, but this one was been drinking them her entire fucking life, and a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, like, what people are gonna have to say, like, explain to me what ideal is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, yeah,
But
everyone
to
needs
the-
something different.
To the layman, if you sat and listened to this podcast, you'd be like, oh, this guy's like pointing out all the flaws in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and this is kind of like more vegan propaganda. They're just trying to like push these things onto people, and it may not be a good idea for like most of us.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they point out a lot of things. Most of the people in the movies are like athletes. Like there's a lady that does like Olympic biking where they ride around in those crazy fucking indoor circle things.
Weird.
But there was a strong man. There's bodybuilders. I'm trying to remember who else. They did highlight like some like I said, Nate Diaz pops up, but it's like they didn't interview him.
I feel like they probably did a 45-minute interview. It's like, let's cut this down to about 30 seconds because I don't want. Yeah, man, I just feel like you just gotta eat the meat and you eat the good. Yeah. God, I hope he doesn't hear this. He's definitely not going to, but.
But there's lots of that kind of stuff, and so when I got done with the first one, I was just like, okay, I'm still slightly confused. Like, I don't know, like it sounds like a lot of the stuff's still kind of like BS. Like a lot of things that I was questioning, I was just kind of like, oh, that confirms it. But then I listened to the next one, where James, the star / producer guy, comes in. And he basically just like he's got a explanation for every single thing, and there was like science to back up like all the things.
Yeah, they just couldn't make an 18-hour movie that had like, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but
I think there was like it was one of those things where like the credits had like a lot of fine print. If you would have like sat and analyzed everything and show you like every single study for every single thing. But my problem with the podcast was that, and I understand this guy sat and listened to a 3-hour podcast where his movie got shit on by these two dudes, and Joe Rogan like tries to keep like unbiased opinion. Like he definitely like in the debunking one, he was just kind of like, yeah, I thought like this meat was good because of this.
Yeah,
and this.
as you'll notice, Joe Rogan didn't get the producer on of the movie. He's like, hey, I watched this movie. We should get that guy on. No, he got a guy on that wanted to debunk it with him. So he had already answers that he made up in his mind that he wanted to find, I guess, the questions for.
But I mean, like a lot of the stuff that Joe Rogan tries to like find, because I mean he's an athletic guy and he's always trying to like up his nutrition game. Like he tries all kinds of crazy shit. He did like the keto diet. Now he's doing a carnivore diet where you just eat meat all the time. I don't know how that works, but
yeah, it's the same. I mean, I don't know. It's like the keto thing. Like, yeah, that's the most ideal thing. And I'm like, yeah, but you're like, I don't know. It just seems so bizarre that you're having to like retrain your body to just. And I understand that, like, cutting out fucking zebra cakes and stuff is a good idea.
But there's a whole question about like getting like the proper like amino acids from plants compared to like animal products. I'm trying to remember. There's a whole thing about endothelial function that they got into, and that's more of that stuff with like how your blood pumps through like your arteries. Like I guess they'll get like clogged up if there's like certain things in them that it doesn't like, and allegedly the plant-based stuff makes things flow a lot smoother. But I don't know. There's studies that show that like the animal products do it too. But the guy that did the Game Changers movie was pointing out that a lot of these studies were flawed because they were either backed by like companies that were like trying to sell more meat, or like I don't know. There's all kinds of like things that he was pulling up, but I just got
somebody
really...
that sells meat can also do research that's like, yeah, this is 100% true. But it's like, yeah, but you sell meat. It's like, that doesn't make it flawed. I mean, I understand the conflict of interest in doing the research, but like...
But it just got very frustrating because, like I said, I understand the guy was irritated because his movie got shit on. But
on the biggest, like, platform.
Yeah. But he came in to, like, fuck this dude up. Like, he had, like...
Oh, that was the funniest thing because like I heard from like strangers about like that movie, and it is funny that like as soon as it catches wind, it's like they went on the biggest platform and the biggest podcast on planet Earth, and they're like, "Sorry, buddy, we're gonna take you down a peg and probably ruin everything."
But he's basically it wasn't even so much as like he was trying to like I mean he was trying to disprove everything that this guy said in the debunking.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a full-on character assassination. It was just like this guy, like he does this and this and this, and like, do you really like want to take your information from a person that does this? Like,
yeah. See, I hate those kind of arguments. It doesn't like.
And it was I don't know. I mean, he had good points, but it was just like even when he kept saying like, "Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you, Joe, for having me on. I appreciate you, Chris, for like letting me like explain myself or whatever." But he was being like really shitty about it. Like I don't know, like, and it just kind of like I listened to the whole thing. It's like 3 hours and 42 minutes of these people just like arguing. But
it would be a beating and a half. Because I imagine a lot of people listening to that probably are yelling at the thing. Like, no, man, fuck you. Because I haven't listened to that, but I've definitely. I mean, I've told you I've listened to stuff where I'm like, fucking, these guys are fucking killing me, man. If I could just get in there and fucking.
But I wanted to like know if there was like, yeah, I keep hearing that too. I don't know what that is. Maybe the dryer.
Maybe. I wonder if it's super.
This is what?
I was
People are about to die.
Like, I wonder if it's super loud. It's just
no.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is kind of loud, but
okay. Well, we're almost an hour in. But I just
But honestly, I just didn't really like come to any like full on conclusions. I don't think like it was funny too because that guy almost like kind of conceded, like talking to Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan like he does eat meat, but he's one of those guys that eats like elk.
Yeah.
So he's not eating like shitty processed food. So the guy was like, yeah, if you're gonna eat meat, that's the thing to do. Like eat like some kind of grass fed, like pure, like either like wild game or like grass fed beef or something like that. Like that's the way to go if you're gonna do it. But I don't really, me personally, I don't condone that. I'm like plants all the way. So like I said, I don't know. Like
that's the funny thing is because like they don't like the debate like really doesn't matter because all they would like just go to a doctor, get tested for all these things, the both of you, and see who quote unquote comes out on top. Or how about this? How about we just wait it out and one of you dies before the other one? Would the one living be declared the winner? That's what I'm saying. Like you don't even need to have the debate because it's like clearly this guy is like able, walking around, like functioning. It's not like he's no man, you're doing it wrong. And it's like, what is wrong? There's so many variables in a person's life that like
they got into an argument about B12. I don't know if you're like familiar with.
I am familiar. Brain juice.
But basically the whole argument was that if you're consuming animal products, it's supposedly like better as far as getting like B12 compared to plants.
Mm-hmm.
But he was arguing that B12 is basically like injected into like cows and like I'm not sure if they do it to chickens and stuff, but all the stuff that you go and buy at the store, they inject it with B12. So by like transitive property, you're still like having to take a supplement, but just like from like the person giving it to the animal. So you might as well just take like a supplement anyways. Like nobody's getting their actual B12 from the thing.
Yeah.
It's either getting injected into it beforehand or you have to take like a pill.
That's true. They're kind of like, whereas they're making fun of him for taking the pill, and it's like, yeah, but everything's that are in the supplements that are being injected into the shit that you're. Okay, that's
but
fine.
That became like a weird point too because apparently there's certain kinds of seafood that you can eat that have like high amounts of B12 and you don't really need it. But anyways, the Chris Kresser guy, the guy that was supporting the omnivore diet, he was saying that you could go and get tested for B12 and then determine where you want to go from there. Because some people don't need it.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many variables in a person's life that, like, a doctor making a diagnosis, like, oh, yeah, you have this and this. It's like, okay, well, it's not really working. Like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that you were, like, you know, spent this much time in the daylight, UV rays hitting you, and, like, you have this problem. There's so many variables that, like, obviously, like, yeah, a diet's going to be different for everybody, but even at the same time, it just goes back to me saying, like, what is the definition of an ideal diet? Like, one that makes you live 200 years? Like, well, if it's 200 years, why can't it be 300 years? Like, what makes it ideal? I don't understand.
But
like,
the plant-based guy, James, he was just like, not everybody can afford to go, like, get their blood tested or whatever, like, do this crazy testing that you want to do. So he's like, everybody should just take B12.
How is that even made, like, hey, well, not everyone can afford that. It's like, yeah, I understand that, but like that doesn't dismiss the fact that like this is the best way to go.
Yeah.
Like, to kill cancer, like, do chemo. Yeah, well, not everyone insurance covers that. I'm like, okay, well, so like, you know, it's just that the cost doesn't dispute. Like, I understand, like, definitely the easy way out is to, you know, not, if you can't afford that, you can't do it. Like, it's just the way it is. But that doesn't disprove that it's the best way to do something. Like, that's a ridiculous argument.
But like I said, anyways, I listened to this whole thing and I still didn't really come to any great conclusions other than, like, yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to eat lots of plants, especially if you're eating like whole foods and stuff like that. The less processed foods that you consume, the better. I'm actually going to, my girlfriend does like a, like a mail food thing, like Meals in the Mail.
Blue Apron?
I'm trying to remember. I think it's like Green Chef or something.
Green Chef.
But anyways, we're going to try doing one veggie meal a week and maybe up it.
That'd be cool, man. See, I feel like I'd be down with that, but like, don't tell me which one it is. Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling you'll be able to figure it out pretty quickly, but I'm kind of hoping maybe I could be tricked and be like, oh, that's pretty, yeah, it was pretty good. I'm like, yeah, no, what? None? Oh my God. I wonder, you know, a lion. Like, what do you think the best diet for a lion is? If this guy was to, like, build the perfect diet, you think it'd be plant-based for a lion,
No,
too?
no.
No?
They have to eat meat.
They have to?
Yeah. Same thing with, like, any kind of cat.
Was there a point in time where humans had to? And we've evolved past that? Because I've heard people say about, like, our teeth aren't really built for eating meat. Like, you can tell by the way our biology is.
That was the whole argument in the movie, too. Because they even went back to, like, Roman gladiators.
To be fair,
stuff.
I mean, I know my teeth aren't sharp, but, like, I can rip into some fucking meat. No problem, bro.
But, yeah, they talked about gladiators in the movie having, like, a mostly plant-based diet.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie Gladiator.
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah, well, in that movie that Hollywood made, they
In
totally
the Game
plant-based diet.
Changers movie, they talked about gladiators having a mostly plant-based diet. But that was also confusing, too, because, yeah, they proved that gladiators...
Every time I see gladiators, they're always in fucking dirt and stuff.
Yeah, but they proved that gladiators ate a lot of, like, plants, but they were also, like, slaves that were forced to, like, battle each other, and they had, like, a very short lifespan.
I also don't think that they were like, hey, I'm going plant-based.
Oh, no, like, it was just...
Like, I think they just, it's here, I have to eat
yeah,
this.
they were
like,
slaves, and that was what they were fed.
that's what you were saying. But yeah, it's just like me living in the forest. It's like, yeah, I live on a plant-based diet. It's like, yeah, but he was also born in a forest and had no family whatsoever and was raised by fucking, I don't know, a leopard.
But I think
like, how is he gonna like? It's just
humans primarily ate plant foods, and they would eat meat as it would come. Like, it wasn't like...
God, what's that YouTuber's name? Shoey something? Not Shoe on Head. That's that chick. Damn it. Fuck. Shoe on Face? No. Face shoe? Shit. That guy eats everything though. He eats glue, glass, caulk, tiles, whatever you want. He'll eat it. His whole fucking YouTube channel's all eating.
But I never
stuff.
did get any kind of definitive, like, there's always scientists that are like, oh yeah, we should do this or we should do that, or like, we were built to do this, but I don't really know. Like, I think the only thing I know for sure is that what is it? Like, our stomachs aren't built to, like, process, like, certain things. Like, I think, like...
That's what I've heard about, like, milk particularly.
Yeah.
I think I heard that, like, 10 years ago, and I was like, I'm just going to go to almond milk, and I just never looked back. I haven't looked into it. I haven't researched it. Just had a cousin mention it. And I was just like, you know, I'm going to give almond milk a try. And I'm like, this isn't that bad. And it lasts way longer. So I'm just going to do this from now on. I got to say, that's selling point. Lasts way longer. Because I don't drink milk every fucking day. I mean, if I drank a lot of milk, it'd be different, but... That's the thing is, it's like, I want a bowl of cereal.
But I think your body does kind of revert. Like, if you go plant-based, if you try to eat meat, you will get sick. But
well, yeah, see, that's where it's deceiving. Like, see, I got sick because I
Yeah.
ate meat. And it's like, yeah, you did, but there are hundreds of millions of people around the world that do it every day and don't get sick. So it's like, how is that? Yeah, it happened to you. But, yeah, this guy also, he doesn't produce insulin. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have big ones that are easily identifiable, but I
Right.
feel like I was saying earlier, like, there's so many small variables, like, that differ from person to person that, like, how could you, honestly, that's why I feel like the argument's moot on both sides, because I'm like plant-based, like, could be good, nothing but plants for one person,
Yeah.
but not for the other. But it's the same thing with the other guy, the omnivore guy. It's like, well, that could be a good diet for one person, but not another person. Like, it's just... I think they're kind of both wrong. It's just like, and you're never going to know what the fuck was perfect for you. You're going to die, and that's probably going to be one of those stats. You'll be like, if you just would have ate this, you never figured it out. It's like, I feel like we're in a video game. We're trying to figure out the fucking key to life, but we're never going to fucking do it. Everything we need is right here, Smiley. All the cures. Immortality is all right here. We just haven't put it together.
But I think as long as you, like, cut out sugar as much as you can.
Okay.
And,
we got to hear this fucking propaganda again.
Well, I'm probably the worst person to be, like, selling it, because I'm a big fan of sugar.
I mean, that's my diet. I'm just saying, no one that I know of has ever tried an all sugar diet, so might want to give that a
I
shot.
feel like you just turned into
fucking-
a ball of cancer.
You fucking tried everything else. Like, oh, we gotta go all plant. Hey man, I'm going all bread. Is there an all bread one, or is it no bread?
Well, the keto is like no carbs, so it's no bread.
Didn't they have that 10 years ago called the Atkins diet?
Yeah. I can't remember
Now
what
they just
the
call it something else.
what the difference is, but Atkins might be low carb,
Gosh,
and
dude,
I
I
think
just
keto's
want-
no carb. Or it's still low carb because you can have like a few carbs,
I
but
just want like a toothpaste tube, meal done. Like I don't
well,
want.
they have that too.
I don't want one. Do they really?
Not, I don't know if you can eat it out of a tube, but they have what's that
MREs?
stuff? Soylent.
Soylent Green?
It's just called Soylent.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want soy though.
Oh.
I've heard. See, that's another thing. People always thought it was good, and I've
Well,
heard bad things about
I
that
think
too.
that according to that Game Changers movie, that's a misnomer. Like there isn't. I think because it's estrogen, like ups your estrogen count and stuff. I think that's false according to that movie. I've researched it, so I don't know, but I think I want to say they said that
Isn't that funny when people used to
it
make?
does the opposite, maybe.
Do you feel? Oh, okay. Like no, it just does the exact opposite of whatever. But I just remember growing up and like kids making fun of like McDonald's not being real meat, and specifically always joking about soy. It was the
Soybean,
first
yeah.
time I heard of soy,
Uh-huh.
and then like fast forward 15, 20 years, and it's like yeah, it's good for you. And then fast forward like a few years after that, and I find out like yeah, it actually gives you titties and it's bad for you. I'm like fucking. I'm just gonna eat cardboard. Is that can't be bad, right? Actually, I wonder if that's
That'll probably tear up your insides.
You think so? Well, they can chew it up pretty good. I've eaten a lot of paper in my life. I want to know. That's a stat. I would like to know how much paper I've eaten. I've probably eat at least a few sheets in my lifetime. Definitely probably a few sheets of paper. Well, maybe sheets. I don't think that's a little bit much, but maybe. I feel like it's got no nutritional value, so it can't really hurt you. It's kind of the same as celery. Celery, stationary celery. So they should sell it as.
But I don't know. I never thought in a million years that I would eat. Cause I haven't, like I said, my girlfriend gets those meals, and lately we've been doing like all keto meals because that's what she's been trying to do. But it was kind of an issue, so we're just gonna try something else. But because I actually read like a whole thing about how keto isn't really sustainable because you're basically just putting your body into starvation.
Yeah.
Like, and it's feeding off the fat. That's why you lose weight.
That's man. See, and this is what bugs me. That's what I'm saying. I want the tube because I don't want to like. And I know I sound probably lazy to a lot of people, or just like I don't care about my body. And like, you're not wrong. Like that's true. But the thing is like, you know, people have their passions and things they like, and like I don't give a fuck about like researching and like developing. I don't want a part-time job.
Yeah, trying
Making
to
a
like
fucking goddamn
eat.
diet for myself. Like even if you gave me like this is all of the proper healthy things to eat. If it was all like pre-made, ready to go, I would totally eat it. But I just don't want to do I would rather draw or read or do like people have their hobbies. And I'm sorry, but like nutritionists, like that's the thing you're into. So don't fucking get pissed off at people when they don't give a shit. They just want to eat a fucking donut. It's like it's there.
But like I said, I never in a million years would have thought to eat like a keto friendly meal. But I've done it a few times and it's not bad. Like meats and vegetables, like it's okay. There's usually lots of like fats and like I can't remember. There's lots of cheese involved. But I don't know. We also went out for pizza the other night and that was fucking awesome. So
Oh, I'm sure it was. I ordered pizza 3 times on vacation.
But anyways, I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this, just try to like eat whatever like makes you feel good. If you feel like dabbling in plants, go ahead and mess around with it. If it makes you feel bad, stop doing it. But
Just for the record, Bruce Lee was a health nut, died in his 30s. One in Fort Worth, lived to 104 years old, drinking Dr. Pepper. So, you know what? I'm just gonna, you know what? God's real. He has a plan. He'll kill you when he wants you to die. How about that? Does that make I don't know if that makes people feel better or worse. It makes, what I'm saying is like, let's say he does have a grand plan, and that's why I was like, dude, that super healthy guy, he fucking died. Oh, that guy got cancer, he didn't even smoke, he didn't do this. And then you see like, 2 fucking bottles of scotch and cigar guy. It's like, I'm 112 years old and still going. Like, maybe that is the answer. Maybe just, I'm just going to give up. Yeah, he's got a plan. Just do whatever you're going to do. If you're like, obviously don't See, now I feel like I'm like talking people into like dying. He's like, great, my plan is going forward now because everyone's gonna like, I can just crash my car, and if he wants me to live, he'll let me live. Maybe he wants you to die if that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answers. Nobody does.
Do you want to talk about the Segway chair before we go, or do you just want to wrap it up?
I think we should wrap it up because we just
Okay.
talked about being healthy, and a Segway chair is like the antithesis of that. It just makes me think of the humans in that film WALL-E.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Is that what it looks like,
That's
too?
why I kind of wanted to show it to you because.
We'll talk a few minutes. We'll do a few minutes on a Segway chair. I kind of thought Segways fell out of popularity. What's funny is I feel like, I guess they're maybe just not. I mean, you know, they can't stay on the front page forever, but I just feel like people, like they were super cool and everyone made fun, but they kind of like joke. Oh, they even have like. I mean, it just looks kind of like a wheelchair, like a.
Well, a lot of people were saying that it also looks kind of like Professor X's wheelchair.
It looks badass. I'm not gonna lie, but it looks lazy as fuck.
Yeah, it's the future of fatness.
Golly, man, that's
It's basically the Wally chair minus the wheels in Wally, but we'll get to that at some point. They'll figure out magnets or something.
Oh yeah, they will. Hey man, maybe we can just fuck the whole rail system. Fuck that Elon Musk underground tunnel train. Let's just all do segways, dude. No one will hurt anyone. We'll crash into each other at a whopping 4 miles an hour or something. Golly, some people are gonna be too fat. They won't even be able to move them.
I'm not sure. Oh, it's even got like a little training wheel here in the front. If you like tip over.
This is bad. I mean, you know what's funny is, you know what it looks like to me? It looks like a I just lost the fucking name of them. Oh, it looks like an adult stroller. It looks kind of like a kid's car seat
Yeah.
on chairs. They even have, oh, I see one with a fucking like awning thing over it. Oh man.
I wonder if they have the. Let's see.
Gotta keep walking, man. As long as you can walk, just keep on walking, brother. Oh, man. Segway chair. Why don't they just bite the bullet and do the Segway car, man? Get in on the game. Dude, could you imagine that? Just leaning forward and going fucking 80 miles an hour? I don't even really know how they fucking work or anything. I've never fucking stood on one. I remember there was a guy, he came in multiple times. I still see him. I don't see him with this little thing, but he had the hoverboard thing. He used to fucking infuriate me. Shopping. And he just made it look like casual. He's like, this is a guy that's in his 30s, easily. And he's just like, this is just how I shop. He's just like, no smile on the face, just he's focused, he's just shopping. But he's on his fucking hoverboard.
Yeah, what happened? Did all those things blow up?
I don't know. I saw, I saw a guy online on one recently, so it's probably not it was actually Doug TenNapel, the creator of Earthworm Jim, was like doing a video. It was funny because he was doing a video, and it was kind of a semi-serious, kind of like giving you a lecture. But it was just like him doing a lecture, but it would like cut to him like in his office, like talking to the camera, and then it would cut to him like, I don't know, running down the street or something, and then it would cut to him, and he's fucking on the hoverboard. And I'm like, I feel like this is undercutting every serious thing you're trying to get by for everybody. But it was still funny. But yeah, so we got that to look forward to.
Do you have a joke to close this out?
Oh, Segway chair. Is that good enough? I don't have a joke. But actually, I don't know if I can remember it that well, but there was one time a buddy told me he knew a girl that apparently she could give you a blowjob and talk to you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't believe it. So I had to test it out. Now, thankfully, she was easy. I did not Me Too this young lady. She was ready and willing. One of the stipulations kind of sucked, though, is that the lights had to be off. But, whatever. So, I pull down my trousers, my knickers, and, she starts going at it. Feels fucking awesome. And then she just starts talking. Once more, she starts singing. You could, like, put in requests for whatever you wanted. So, of course, I did, My Name is Mud. She sang that. She only knew My Name is Mud, but it felt great. Got done and everything, just fucking blew up in there, buddy. And still in the dark and everything. I'm trying my best to get my clothes back on. Everything's cleaned up. I mean, she swallowed as far as I know, so there wasn't much cleanup or anything.
Yeah.
But she turns on the light, and as I'm walking out, I notice a glass eye in a cup on the dresser.
All right, everybody.
Skull fuck you later.
Peace be with you. Thank you for listening.